make the strings.
All right, guys, this is a moment you've all been waiting for. I think this is what you've been waiting for. Maybe not. I know a lot of people have been missing the drift car, wondering where it's at, if I'm going to do anything with it this year, if I'm drifting, if I'm not drifting. So I just, man, actually, hold on. This thing's freaking, look at that. Look how dirty this thing is. So it's been sitting around the shop for a little while. Before that, it was sitting in my trailer. So I'm gonna hit this with some waterless wash real quick, and then we're gonna see how pretty it is, and then we'll continue. All right, guys. Well, that definitely looks a lot better. So if you guys haven't tried any of our detail, I forgot I didn't have any of the waterless wash here, but the Show Shine, some like quick detailer type stuff that we offer. But if you guys haven't tried any of that out, be sure to check it out. We do have it on the website, and if you guys have tried it out, let me know what you think of it, because it's always nice to hear feedback. But so you guys are probably wondering what we're going to be doing to this thing today, and I guess let's pop the hood. It's been a while since you guys have actually seen under the hood of this thing. That's good. So, maybe I should clean this engine bay too. But anyhow, so if you guys remember the drift car, I had a Garret Gtx3076r on it, turbo by Garrett Turbo, and for some reason that thing just disappeared. I don't know where it went, but it was replaced temporarily with basically a knockoff like China turbo or whatever. So I went ahead and put this on there. This is a kind of like a clone of a Precision like 6466 turbo, which is like an 800 to 900 horsepower turbo, and it sucks. Obviously this is the 2JZGTE. It's 100% stock from basically valve covered oil pan. Literally never taken it off other than to change the valve cover gaskets. Stock ECU. See the stock ECU and everything all just chilling in there. And this thing has been just freaking super reliable. I mean, I pretty much changed oil in it and just beat the crap out of it, and it's had that thing on it for like 3 years, and it's loved every minute of it, and it's been super reliable. And but anyhow, the reason it's on this thing is when we were basically ordering stuff for this, the turbo that we wanted, Garrett didn't actually have in stock for a little while, and I was like, okay, well, this is exactly what we wanted to put on there anyhow. So I was like, well, we'll rob that temporarily. Well, I guess we're leaving that on there, and now we have something new. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick little ride in this thing, but it's not very impressive. It's still on 15 pounds of boost, but it just doesn't feel as nice as it did on the 3582. But we're gonna be replacing it with this guy right here. So if you guys remember our very last giveaway car, or the one before the one, it was the 2JZ S14, and it had a Garret Gtx3076r Gen 2, which is exactly what this thing is. And this is kind of what I've been wanting to put on this car for a little while. I mean, this car's been amazing with that, but drifting with this, I think, is going to basically turn this 2J into like a V8. So I'm really stoked to actually throw it on there. So I'm going to take you guys for a little bit of a rip on this turbo. It's still on 15 pounds, basically exactly what I had on the other turbo, but it just feels really lazy, and it just doesn't feel impressive when it's in boost. I just don't think it's like in its efficiency range, and this thing is going to freaking absolutely rip on there. So once we get back, we're going to replace it and then take you guys for another rip. So pre-rip, post-rip, we're gonna see how it does. So hopefully you can kind of tell by that, or I guess you won't be able to until the next video, or until we actually get the turbo on there, the new one, to see like actually how it rips or how it should kind of feel when it's like in its efficiency range. Again, this turbo is super quiet. It doesn't make any like whistly noise, and even through the exhaust, it doesn't even have that kind of like I don't know, like when it had this turbo on it, since it's straight piped, when it was like, let's say cruising through like the pits at like the drifty van, it was just like, you know, it had like that like turbo sound to it. Even though that turbo was pretty quiet on the intake side, it didn't really have like a whistle. This Gen 2, since it has a little bit different of a style right here, it'll actually make a lot more noise. So this one will be really spooly. So we'll have an actual, like a nice Garrett spoolie boy on there versus a Chinese spoolie boy that doesn't make any spoolie noises. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the fan on this thing real quick and try to get everything kind of cooled off, so that way we could actually get everything replaced. But it should be fairly easy, especially since, you know, literally like it had the 3582, very similar. I mean, basically everything should just bolt right on. The only thing I'll have to do is change this coupler right here. Alright guys, so I went ahead and pulled off the turbo. It came off pretty easy. It came off actually a lot easier than it put on, because when I tried putting it on, I left the center section and everything connected. So I basically disconnected everything and just unbolted the hot side. One of the main differences I noticed between working with, like, let's say this China turbo versus like the Garrett turbo is just like the quality of the components. Just like the exhaust housing, it just feels like a really kind of cheap, mild steel, whereas this is like a nice stainless type of thing. I'm pretty sure it's stainless, but just the machining and everything is a little bit better. Like when you're threading the bolts into the actual casting, like they have a lot of play in them, like the bolts, you know, it's a metric bolt, like a metric thread pitch, but the head is like a 13, but it's not really a 13, so there's like a lot of play in it. So it's just, you know, just the tolerances just don't seem as good, especially on like the, you know, the bolt side of things. But yeah, you could tell by looking at this thing the size difference. So again, this is like a 700 horse capable turbo is what Garrett rates it at the biggest exhaust housing. You know, obviously like that's at the crank and everything, whereas this is, you know, like I said, probably more so like an 800 horse turbo. Just efficiency ranges are going to be completely different, and this thing is, I'm super stoked, especially because we're actually using a 0.63 AR exhaust housing. I have an 82 that I could put on it, but I'm really curious to see what it does with going from like a 1.0 exhaust housing. The one on that used to be on there was a 0.82, and I'd say that was like a really good match for it. But I'm really curious to see what this is gonna do with like the smaller turbo with the smaller exhaust side with the 63. I think it's just gonna literally be like spooling it idle. But if it kind of chokes it down up top, I'll go ahead and throw that 0.82 that I have on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this guy on there. Alright guys, so getting ready to fire this thing up. I went ahead and primed it with oil and got everything all situated. I went ahead and I had to actually make a different return line down there. You can see the black black line going down there. This is a 2-inch right here instead of a 2.5, and so I have this little 90 on there, which is basically the same setup that I had before. We're not running insanely high boost on this, probably about 15-16 pounds, and so hopefully we won't have too much of an issue right there. There is a pretty nice lip right here too, and this is a decent coupler. It's like a 4 or 5 ply treadstone. So got the oil line and everything all hooked up, all the coolant lines and everything, downpipe pretty much, I mean literally just bolted right up again. All the bolts tightened up, and I think we're ready to fire it up. I'm gonna start it up first without the cover on, just so we could hear it a little bit more, which I think we should still, this thing is gonna be a freaking spoolie boy. guys, so that I guess concludes this turbo install. That was freaking, this thing is just so much more rowdy. Like it just, at the same boost level, which it's hitting like right under 15 pounds, which is right where the other one was at, it's just like in the efficiency range, and it's just like freaking rips. What do you think, Blake?
It's a lot faster.
Like it's
instantly.
Yeah, so like I don't know if you guys could tell by like hitting the gauge, but like I feel like it was full boost with like 3,500 RPM, whereas the other turbo was like 48. I don't know. I'm not gonna say exactly, but I'll go back and watch the video, but man, it just feels completely different. Like just getting into boost, it actually like, it just feels good. It like wants to scream and like enjoy the boost, whereas that thing, it was just like, oh, like it's here, you know, like, I don't know. It's kind of like, I guess, what would we describe that as? Like this is like a big turbo, so it's like you have like a really big fan blowing on you, and it just like a bunch of air passing you by. I think at like 30 pounds it would rip, but like this little thing, it's like, imagine like this like little like tornado like being funneled at you through like a 3-inch pipe, and it's just like, holy crap, like I feel like that's what it does to this thing. So that's my explanation. I am really stoked for an event coming up on Father's Day weekend. I believe it's June 15th, 16th or 16th, 17th, Saturday and Sunday at PPIR. I'm kind of co-hosting the event with Drift Colorado, and we're doing a little like drift car challenge. So drift car, drag car challenge, but basically the event is a 2-day event, 2 days of drifting, camping outdoors, music, and 8th mile no prep style drag races down the front like straight at PPIR. We've had a lot of events like this in Colorado in the past, but none that I've actually kind of hosted with. Yeah, we're gonna try to get some other YouTube guys out here, like hopefully. So we're kind of calling them out a little bit, but hopefully they come out, and we're gonna see what their cars will do in the drift and drag. So basically, the car has to drag race, and then it has to drift. And then one day is going to be Drift Colorado competition. The other day we're going to do a lot of little fun stuff, and little burnout box and some other little challenges and stuff. But should be able to run the drift courses all day and into the night. So if you guys are interested in that, I will put a link in the description for the Facebook group, and yeah, be sure to come out. I'll be selling some merch out there. Hopefully we'll get some of the other guys to come out as well. So but yeah, I'm really stoked for that event, and especially now that I have this turbo. Again, it was kind of a last minute thing. Stole the turbo off of this to get it on here, and this thing is freaking amazing with that. But now with this 3076 on this car, it's like a whole different thing. Like it's almost like a V8, like a super rowdy, like fun V8 now. Because this thing always made a lot of torque. But it didn't make much with that on there. But I appreciate you guys watching, and again, check out the links in the description. And if you guys are interested in the Garrett Turbo, I sell freaking Garrett Turbos on MotionAutoPerformance.com, along with a bunch of like Vibrant fittings and Deechworks injectors and BC Racing coilovers. I mean, pretty much like the whole package deal. I could basically sell it. Yeah, hit me up, MotionAutoPerformance.com. But see you guys later.